situation. 1988, Tate & Lyle took over, and immediately started ignoring the contract and not what we thought they were going to be as far as a parent company. Staley management began to take a different focus on how they treated and worked with employees. Safety and health is one of the things that started to deteriorate as well.
In 1990, Staley's deteriorating safety conditions cost Jim Beals his life. Beals was killed when toxic propylene oxide gas was released into the cornstarch processing tank in which he and Jerry Sumner were making repairs. Larry Shook was the safety man on the job.
Jim had just written a grievance about the handling of the propylene oxide in the plant.
He had been to the union hall that afternoon, telling them, and wrote a safety observation that somebody was going to get seriously hurt with these chemicals that afternoon. It's on file.
It's on file. That, you know, the handling of the propylene oxide, unqualified people, according to OSHA, there's supposed to be the minimum amount of people, you know, qualified to do this so that, you know, it don't overlap. You need a qualified person to do it. And there's only like, it was pipe fitters the only ones supposed to work around this propylene as far as the handling of it, and they've been violating this.
They think more of production than they do life right now. Because never, in as long as I was over there, and I was in that area longer than anyone, did they ever run both reactors. One reactor without the other, without shutting it down.
I got down into the vessel, and Jim Beals followed me in. So we were in there, I don't know, we'd been in there maybe 10 minutes. And me and Jim see some water, looked like water, coming down from one of the holes in the top of this vessel. We hauled her at Larry, hey, they're pumping something in on us. And I was in there maybe 10, 15 seconds before I was suffocating. And by this time it was really pouring in, you know. At first it looked like a shower head around the outside of this pipe. And it was coming in, we knew it was PO. And I told Jim, I'm getting the so-and-so out of here. And he says, but that's PO. I remember closing my eyes and holding my breath and grabbing hold of one of the arms, thinking, well, maybe I can slide along the bottom, because I was suffocating for air, you know, and this, it was just that fast.
It takes the oxygen out of the air that quick. That's what it does.
So I remember sliding towards the opening, and I was out of it. I remember going towards a light, you know, but I had my eyes closed, so they told me it was probably a lack of oxygen, made you see the light they're always talking about. I remember, the next thing I remember, I had my head outside the vessel, and I couldn't breathe. I got out, and I was on fire. I mean, all the areas on you, the soft skin was just burning. My face on fire from this PO.
We was thinking, man, we got to do something. Well, Jerry's yelling at Jim when he comes out of there. He's soaked with it. Now, can you imagine knowing that it's carcinogenic to you if you get it on you? He's covered with it. He went to get another one.
Was not working. Okay.
Yeah.
They had 15 Scott Air packs in the plant, and not one of them in the whole plant was charged over 30%. They were all useless. Outside this room, there's emergency oxygen, 10 bottles of oxygen along the wall. They were all empty.
It was a comedy of errors. Nothing that they had for our safety worked. They had oxygen bottles downstairs outside and had a tube, not a tube, plastic rubber hose that run from outside up to this vessel, to these vessels, and you're supposed to be able to go down there and turn them on. Nothing worked. I
can remember trying to go back in the hole, and above this hole there was I-beam supports, okay? And the I-beam, probably 12-inch I-beam, and all these gases were trapping up there. It was 175 degrees. And I do remember I had my head back in there. I do remember seeing Jim sitting there, and he hadn't even moved. I remember seeing his shirt and, you know, hollering and screaming at him, but he didn't even move. He was still in the same position. You know, the company was completely in the wrong doing this.